You guys, we did it. We grew a sourdough starter in just 8 days. This is the second time that it has doubled. It doubled its first time on day 2, and then from day 2 up until day 5-ish, it was really slow and dormant, just doing its thing there for a second. I thought it wasn't going to work. Every time you get around that 4 or 5 day mark, you're like, man, it's not doing anything. I'm doing something wrong. But I promise, just keep pushing through it, keep it in a warm area, and it's going to get here. You can see here, this is where I marked last night, so it was 12 hours ago. This is where I fed it. It is now here. The walls of the jar all the way up here are dirty, so this is telling me that at some point at night it was up here and it's starting to fall back down. So you guys, this is so exciting. Usually when it gets to this point, what I want to do is feed it a few more times just to make sure that I'm getting at least doubling in size 3 to 4 times in a row. So this is going to be its second time. So I'm going to feed it one more time and see what happens. I have my food scale here. We're going to use my new jar. Place the jar on here. Make sure your scale set to grams and zero it out. Now I'm going to take my sourdough starter. First, let's smell it. Yep. It's smelling yeasty. That's amazing, because if you guys remember from the previous days, it smelled so bad. It smelled disgusting, but it is finally having this beautiful yeasty smell. Let me actually show you the inside. Okay, so that is what it looks like. That looks so perfect. I'm gonna add 25 grams of sourdough starter. We don't need to be adding a lot of flour and water to this just yet, because usually when you add a lot of water and flour, it's gonna grow. So whatever you feed it multiplies. So if you're gonna give it a lot, it's gonna multiply. And we're not using this sourdough starter just yet to make bread. So I'm still using little amounts, just not to be super wasteful, because it's still not strong enough to give us a really good loaf. So we're only gonna do little amounts, but then eventually we're gonna feed it like 150 grams of water versus 50 grams. So now I'm gonna do 50 grams of water. This is the brand that I'm using to feed my sourdough starter. I don't use any other water to feed my sourdough starter. I don't use my fridge water, even though it's filtered. Because we live in the city, there's still traces of chlorine in there, and that's going to mess with your sourdough starter bacteria. So make sure that you're getting good water and good flour. I only use Ozarka Mountain water to feed it, and I only use King Arthur unbleached bread flour. This is my 3rd time growing a sourdough starter without any issues. I'm on day 8 and it's already doubling. So I strongly believe it's because of this combination here. So if you're struggling with your sourdough starter, go get yourself King Arthur unbleached bread flour and Ozarka Mountain water, and hopefully that's going to help if you're having any issues. Now I'm gonna mix the water and the sourdough starter together. We're gonna add 50 grams of flour. I really love the wide mouth on this jar because it's so much easier to feed it. Now I'm gonna give this a mix. I'm gonna mark it where it is right now. Right now it is 11 during the day, so I'm gonna keep a close eye on it and see how many hours it takes for this to rise. I've been keeping my sourdough starter outside because it's really hot outside. It's about like in the low 90s, and inside my house it's 73 degrees, and my countertops are very cold because this is rock. So I've been keeping it outside and has been loving it outside. So if you're also having issues with your starter, go ahead and put it outside into a warm area, or put it into your oven or like a heating pad or something to keep it warm. But okay, I'm gonna close this, let it rise. Right now it is at about 100. So that's on the very bottom line. So let's see how long this is gonna take and see what happens.